I was going nowhere in my life. I would have just gone to prison, mate. I was doing nothing, the bad kid. You get abused by the crowd ringside when you're walking to the ring. They're all giving it, everything stacked against you. The boy's confident, and you just want to get it on. It's an addictive, it's like a drug.
Welcome to the George Groves Boxing Club. I'm George Groves. I'm with Deck as always, and today we have none other. Simple introduction, the Medway Mauler. Louis Greene's on the pod. You're part of the club now, mate. Welcome to the show.
Yeah,
how you doing?
I'm all right. Thanks for having me up here, boys.
Yeah, pleasure. Yeah. So we were big fans of the performance against Jack McGann, your last outing, which was not that long ago now. It seems like a long time ago.
March.
And the post-fight interview, of course, which gone down legendary status. But we want to get into a bit about your background and whatnot, because those cards seem to throw up like a couple of stars every time. And certainly for us, wasn't it? The day after when we looked over the card, we were like, "What about Louis Greene?
Yeah.
Like, we got to hear from this guy," because I think as well you're quite understated. You don't talk a lot. Even the press conference at the Sam Gilly fight, I remember that, just very respectful, quiet. So we want to hear a bit about your backstory, if you're ready to deliver it.
Yeah, you ask away, boys.
Yeah. Okay.
So after, would that maybe be out of character for you? The talking you did after that fight, the post-fight interview?
I've never really spoke too much, to be fair. It was an accident. Like I say, I went to get out of the ring and they called me back, so it just sort of come out when they're asking me about the surroundings and everything like that. I'm not a big speaker, but it's gone mad.
But keep listening to this pod.
Yeah.
I'll chuck as much as I can out.
Yeah.
Because you end up like, who's the chap in the ring? I always forget.
Ariel Helwani.
Yes.
He's the MMA guy, but he did that one. Obviously, in Ghana was there, so he was involved with DAZN and stuff.
But it's a brilliant win. Like, what's your body feeling like straight after that win? Are you supercharged or are you just super cool? Like,
no, I was quite relaxed. To be fair with you, I mean, you've been in there. You're full of emotion and you feel aggressive in it, but you still feel controlled. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like a switch. It just goes off, and then you go from scrapping, and then you get the interview. So you sort of calm, you adjust. That's how I found it.
I agree with what you're saying, but I think lots of fighters it's easy to switch it on. Sometimes a little bit harder to turn it off.
Like Anthony Joshua's always still going, isn't he? After he wins, and he's still going when he does the interview.
And then sometimes you see fighters that when if it finishes early, they've still got that surplus of energy that comes out. But he was just like, it did have an element of that, but you're obviously very calm and cool with the way you speak.
Inside, you it's violent, and you still feel full of violence because you're vibrating. You just had a fight with someone.
Yeah.
But the fight's done, so you start calming. I find.
Yeah.
And that Jack McGann fight, obviously, Jack McGann's a kind of home fighter there. His manager is one of the Warrens and whatnot, and you go in there, underdog. I would assume with the bookmakers as well.
Yeah, no one thought I was.
No one was backing you, and within 90 seconds. It's over. One round knockout, like a dream fight. Were you? I know you're going to say you weren't looking for the knockout, but did you think I can go in there and walk through him?
The bell went. I've just sort of, I say it all the time. You feel like you're let off a lead a little bit. You can just get out there and I thought he was going to fly at me, and they were telling me how big he was, and he had knocked loads of people out, and he's boisterous and strong. So I was raging for it, So when the bell went, I thought we're going to just get it on and fight. So when the bell went and I just charged out, I felt like I could have fought all night, Yeah. But the punch itself, when I threw it, I went to follow up because I didn't know he'd gone down, Until obviously I see it, and then I run back.
Yeah, and then you knew it was over that quickly. You knew he was done at that point.
I see him wobble on the floor, and then he went to get his bat, and then he fell forward again, and then when he got up, he fell back. He would have carried on. All fighters, you would do.
Have you got a plan at that point? Say he does sort of get the referee's attention enough where let him go on again. It's early. Maybe he'll get his legs under him. Have you got a plan at that point?
Yeah.
Like, what's the plan?
Get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just get straight
Get
over
all
there
over
and get, yeah.
So
And
have you got a punch in particular that you would...
no, Sam said it to me after when we fought. He said, I didn't realise you had a left hook. And as an amateur, I had a lot of knockouts as an amateur. I only had 26 fights. I had 12 one-punch knockouts, and I had 18 fellas hit the deck. But they was with a left hook or a right hand. Some even a straight left hand. I put them over. And he said to me, oh, so I didn't know you could throw the left hook as well, because it was the left hook that had him wobbling. So I don't know, bell goes, the ref would have said go, and I would have just launched.
It's got to be anything.
Yeah, I would have just launched it.
Wherever you see. So you say you had 26 amateur bouts and 18 of them you dropped the opponent.
18 of them over, yeah.
That's mad in amateur boxing. That's really not. That's not normal. It's not a normal record.
No.
So at what point were you like, fucking hell, I think I can punch you?
The very first time I ever went in the gym. The first time I stepped in a gym was the first time I ever sparred. And you know Sandy Risley.
Yeah.
You must have known Sandy. He was in there, and they said spar with this boy, and he's about 67 kilo. And when I first walked in the gym, I was about 53 kilo.
Right.
And I'd just been fighting up the local estate and things. I'd never been in a gym, you know.
Yeah.
And we started sparring, and this boy was getting ready for his first fight. He's done gym shows and things, and first round he gave me an hiding. And I'd seen a video of Jack Dempsey and Mike Tyson bobbing and weaving and throwing hooks on my brother's laptop, a YouTube video. And I rolled under his right hand and I whacked him, and I knocked him out cold. And
so this is first day, first spar.
First day.
Second round.
I didn't even hit the bag. I went in the gym and we warmed up, and the gym had only been open about 2 weeks. And we was sparring. They just said spar, and this boy had come from a gym in Gravesend with the trainer. They knew each other, and we had bag gloves on. I didn't even have any gloves. There was just a box there.
Stinking.
And he went, get some gloves on. I had no wraps.
Yep.
So I just put my hands in these gloves, like looking at him thinking, is that all right? They put this head guard on me that was torn to pieces, and we was scrapping. I say he was stylistically, and I was just trying to go for the kill, you know. And then after the bell went, when I was in the corner, the only one who gave me water was Sandy. He come up and give me some water. And then the next round, I'm bobbing and weaving. I realised I wasn't quite getting hit, and I was coming up with these hooks, but they were like skimming.
Yeah.
I could see he was struggling. And then I landed it, like an overhand left. I belted him, and he went donk. And I instantly thought, I'm in trouble here. And the trainer went to me, pick him up.
Pick him up. Yeah.
And I was trying to pick him up, and then Sandy went to me, how long you been? I said, it's the first time I've been in the gym. He said, you never done that before? I said, only up the estate.
Right.
And then I left the gym, and that was it. And then my dad come up with me, must have been 3 days later, met Sandy, and then my dad started training me in that gym. So him and Sandy, and he was the one who convinced me to turn professional, Sandy, after a long time, you know.
It wasn't after that one spar.
Yeah.
It's like next week.
Giving you a contract.
Pro, yeah.
No, but that was where it started. I'd never experienced anything like that.
So what age was that, and what was the gym?
That was Strood ABC. I was about 14.
So what was it that took you in there in the first place? Like, what was it that made you think, I fancy this, I'll give it a go?
I was going nowhere in my life at all. I was just a real bad kid, and then I lived with my dad up until I was about 13, and then I had to go live. They tried me another school up at my mum's, and I was there for about a week. Funnily enough, where that Chevron Clark went now, I was there for about a week.
Oh, the school.
Yeah. He went there as well. I went.
Because Gravesham was his club, wasn't it? He's from.
He'd come down my amateur gym a couple of times as well, but I knew him from school vaguely, and I was there for about a week, and then I went straight to work slabbing and things like that. I was smoking and puffing and thieving and I was just a real tearaway kid. And then someone comes to me and said, there's a boxing gym open. And I'd always done pads with my dad, and my whole family used to box. And then I just took myself down the gym. I come out, rang my dad, I said, yeah, let's join this gym. And I sparred, I just knocked this kid out. And I never experienced anything like it before. I got in, I threw the fags and that in the bin.
Yep.
And the puff. And
Really, was that quick?
yeah, I just stayed in the gym.
So that's just obviously the buzz maybe of dropping someone. That feel good? It is a nice feeling.
Yeah, look, we've all, like, before you enter a box, some people have boxed all their life and things, but we've all, like, if you're a bit of a rough boy, depending on, you've all had fights and things, so you get the feeling that you enjoy it anyway.
Yeah.
I just felt
It's
like
primal, isn't it?
Yeah, I
It's
just
a
felt
human
like being in a gym where it was allowed and it was disciplined was something, and I was praised for it, opposed to just being in trouble all the time. Yeah. So I was like become addicted immediately.
What was it about that made you pack in all them classic cliche sort of bad things, which we know are obviously smoking and puffing and stuff like
Being
that?
a boy, yeah.
But just so boxing just was like, this is a channel to now knock all that on the head and just concentrate on boxing.
Yeah, well, like my dad had tried to put me in things to do courses and get a try, but I just couldn't. My brain just wouldn't allow it. And then my mum, she did the same, and I caused her a lot of grief. And then when I went to the gym, I come back. I said, like, I'm gonna stick with this with the boxing. And if you notice a change quickly.
Do you think you was looking for boxing without realising it?
Well, I'd always seen it. I mean, I used to watch a lot of Arturo Gatti when I was a kid because my dad it was on the telly all the time. And then, so you like this, he's like blood and guts, come and have a watch. And I was like fascinated by it. So I'd do the pads with him and I used to enjoy watching it and doing it. But as far as being that, at the age I was when he used to show me, I was just here, there and everywhere. Like, I was such a scatty, wild child. Couldn't have took me in the gym at that age because it just wouldn't have worked.
You couldn't have stuck with it.
No.
Can you remember the first time you dropped someone?
Yeah. I did kickboxing for a bit as
Oh
well,
yeah,
didn't I?
kicking
So
everyone in the head don't
I
count.
kicked someone and knocked him out once.
Fucking bully.
Yeah, and it was a proper mismatch. But they used to let you do full. It was always like weird thing with kickboxing. You could do light contact, semi-contact, full contact, and then like you had to be good to do full contact. And they were like, this kid weren't ready. But yeah, a few times in boxing, I can't remember. In the gym, I don't know. I can't really think now. It was a specific time, but it does happen. It's quite nice. It's a nice feeling, and then it reverberates. If your gym was quite new, there might not been a lot of people there, but my gym was like old and established. So about 30, 40 kids in there. You're like, oh, did you hear?
Yeah.
You got dropped last week.
Yeah. So you're in there then. So first day that happens. How often are you going to the gym then? Are you trying to get in there every day? Like, just
I would try, but
just addicted.
It wasn't open every day. It was like 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And I never missed it. I was there all the time, non-stop. It become like a big obsession. I would finish, because I was working at 13 and 14. I didn't go to school. I just went straight. So my dad said, if you ain't going to be at school, you're going to have to go out and learn to be a man. And so I just went out working, laying slabs and things. And then I was fucking sick of it, man. I just wanted to go to the gym.
That's hard. It's physical work.
Yeah, right.
Does that help your boxing? I mean, it must toughen you up.
But I was like 13, I was a kid, so I didn't really think of it. I was too young to sort of understand.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Really, like I was like carrying big slabs up and down and running around wheelbarrows and things, but I didn't really think of it like it was gonna strengthen me up or nothing.
But it's like that farm boy strength. You talk about, just being
proper strong.
Strong. Like if you start young as well.
Strong hands and forearms and that.
And hitting hard, which you obviously do.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I was like, when I started, but I got some pictures of me. I'm like as fat as a coat hanger. I was like, Tommy Owens looked fat compared to me. And when I first started, I didn't understand, like, to be fair, the trainer, before my dad really took train with me, Sandy used to shout because I'd try and kill all of the time. I had no gym experience or no fight experience, to which nice. And the other fella would move, and I'd just launch out. But I had a lot of success doing it in the gym. They'd go over and things. You know, it weren't until Sandy and my dad would say to me like, "Look, you don't have to do that," and I didn't understand it. I just thought that was what everyone did because they would hit me so hard. I used to just think, and I didn't understand weights or nothing. You know, so I thought they were just hitting me hard, but they're saying, no, you're very heavy-handed. You're going mad. They're fighting you off. But I didn't get it. I didn't understand. I didn't understand even sparring gloves, or I didn't understand none of it.
Yeah. At what point were they like, well, let's get you a bout? You fancy a debut?
Quite quickly, to be fair. Just after my medical, it must have been about 2 weeks after I had the medical. I went straight out. Over in Isle of Sheppey it was. I ended up actually training in a gym above that for my last amateur fight. I didn't even realise until I walked in the hall and thought, I've been in it before. Yeah. Then I watched the fight back of my first ever fight. I thought, I'm staying here downstairs.
Good times, yeah. And you won that fight?
About 30 seconds it was, yeah.
Was it?
So it sounds like with your mentality, your temperament at that point, it makes sense to get you, you're in the gym, you're enjoying it, to get you boxing as well, give you that satisfaction. At what point did you think this could be a career for me? Like I could turn pro, I could earn money from this?
I never thought it. When I was doing some bits with Sandy, and I thought I was going to stop boxing. I didn't understand. He said I punched like a mule, and I thought he'd dug me out. And I said to my dad, like, I ain't going to go back.
What, he thought he was slagging you off?
I thought he was giving me like to say sort of like he just done.
Mule, they ain't even got hands, have they?
Yeah.
It's a donkey kick. So I didn't understand. And my dad is laughing at me, and I remember thinking, that ain't funny. Like I was a kid, do you know what I mean? I was like, it's not funny. And I was gutted. Because I thought I was doing well, you know. I put the phone down on him, and the next day he turned up at my mum's house, drove up from Welling to chat and pick me up. He said no. And when he explained it, I was chuffed. But I never thought about making the money side of things until a lot later. But I never made I just sort of would listen to what people would say, do you know what I mean? I would go with it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So you're not dreaming of becoming a world champion at this point as a kid maybe, or are you? If I'm honest with you, at that age, I didn't know about belts. I just would watch fights, and I just looked at the fights. I didn't look at, like nowadays, this is where things are, you look at people at a press conference screaming, it's not about how exciting the actual fight is. It's the fault of the fight for the fans. It's not the actual fight. Like, I remember watching you and Digao. And the fight itself was immense from start to finish. But the build-up was like, there was a bit of needle there. But you would look at some fights now, there's a needle, and the fight start, and there's nothing.
It's a bit shit, yeah.
But it's all about the build-up, and it's all about who is unbeaten and how many, what kind of belt. But I didn't understand any of that. To me, it was just the fight itself. It was only when I understood belts as it got a bit older. When I won the Haringey, when Anthony Yard was in there.
And that was that first year Yard was in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, back then, you won it that year?
Yeah.
What weight were you at that point?
Light welterweight. We were the only two to stop all three. Because I remember watching him up, because they bumped him up because he was so good. Yeah. They bumped him up like from the under 10s to the 20s. He had to. He was just in a league of his own, you know what I mean? Compared to the boys he was boxing. When I got a gold medal, I remember swearing in the ring after the fight. I was like, fucking champion and that. And Sandy was going to me, shh. And I didn't understand it, you know. And then it was at that point, which is probably quite a little bit late in, that I thought, God, like becoming a proper big established champion. But I was still an amateur then. Yeah. And then I won a belt as an amateur. And then later on I turned pro and started setting myself goals, you know, like Southern area first and things like that.
Yeah.
Debut was 2015, right?
Yeah,
I think so. So you've been nearly, well, that's 9 years nearly. So getting on for a decade as a pro. What were the early days like as a pro? Because it can be hard hard going?
I fought for free a few times, so I didn't want to do the 20-0 journeyman route or 10-0 journeyman route. I didn't want to do that, and I've got kids. I had kids really young, so I needed to always was in work all the time, and sometimes it was just hard, man. I wasn't making a living boxing, but I just wanted to box. I didn't like going to work for some bloke just in your ear, just grinding your gears all day. You know, it was a real struggle, man.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah.
So what job were you doing at this point? Say at the start of your pro career, you still won the slabs? You doing something else now?
Slabbing, and then I was too young, but I had a fake doorman license.
Oh, fucking hell.
And I done that for a little while, and I even got myself onto the Harry Potter film set as one of the people there, and a bloke was calling my name, and my name on the license was Shane, and the bloke was calling my name, and I didn't know he was talking to me, and I'm just ignoring him. And that was the last time I had work doing that. And then
You're not in the film.
Yeah, I was just saying,
you're
what
in the
part?
background.
Yeah.
You're not like in the film.
I was just
like
on
a
this.
wizard.
On this, I was on the. Did you see the bit when they're playing the chess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, in that.
I'm not in the scene.
I was going to say which bit.
They had me there.
The big chess.
Yeah.
At the end of the first one.
I was like, I kind of. Do you know what? I don't even know. I was just looking after it. I was doing something, but I was only. I was young, and then I got work at a metal yard, working on like a construction metal yard for a little while. But I fucking hated it there, man.
Yeah.
I hated it. Yeah, I really struggled with the people there.
And what's training like at this point? Are you getting up running before work?
Yeah,
Are you in the gym after work?
Train before work, and then that was graft because I used to swing an hammer all day. I was swinging a 14-pound hammer straight. There was like these big metal sheets. They probably seen they push them in the ground. Seen them?
Yep.
And they stop the ground falling in on the boys in the hole. And when they come back, they're all bent in it. And I'd have to get this big heat gun thing, eat it up, I'd get the hammer, and I'd stand there all day swinging this 14-pound sledgehammer and straighten the sheets out. And then I would go to the gym and I'd finish. Yeah.
So that's farm boy strength again.
That's
and
like,
I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Like,
it's because he's the biggest puncher in Strood. It's like you want someone like that swinging the hammer, don't you?
Yeah, but I fucking hated it, man.
And is that the job that no one else wants to do, but you're the only one tough enough to do it?
No, I was too young to do anything else there.
Right.
So they just stuck me on that, and then there was like a big forklift thing. A bloke used to have to come in and flip them over. But because he's busy doing whatever he was doing, I used to put like a bit of wood in there and like flip them. And I'd just stand there, I was out of the way, so I didn't really mind it. But then they sponsored me for a little while, where they'd give me days to train. Not all the time, but then I started to... I had a bloke there, his name was Russell, he was good as gold. And I'd go into him and say, look, like, I've got a big fight coming up. Like, and they'd say, yeah, go and go home. And I'd think, fucking sweet. So then I'd go to the gym, and I was doing it on a regular. And I said to my brother who was with me, working there, I said, if that weren't here, I wouldn't be here. I'd shave. I'm only here because it fits around the boxing.
Yeah.
And it's giving me money to give to my kid's mum to get the kids things. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. And they went in and they took the sponsorship away from me. And I just fucking walked straight out. If I ain't staying here, money was useless and it was degrading being here. They spoke to you badly, and you know.
Yeah. So you said you had children young, yeah?
Yeah.
And then, so that's a massive responsibility, you know. You've got a family to take care of, but so then you got to marry, boxing around, providing for your family. That's got to be tough. Like,
well, when I was an amateur, I had my first kid at 16, so I was an amateur then, but I was working and things, but it was still very like art because the work I was doing at the time wasn't consistent. Tonight it was like here and now. Sometimes you'd have nothing with a baby, and it was a worry even then. You know what I mean? And I was, but that, like I said it in the interview. Like he really made a man out of me. The boy, being young, you know, because it gives you such a different responsibility. And I feel I needed it at that point. Otherwise, I would have just gone to prison, mate. I was doing nothing, you know. The bad kid.
Gives you some purpose, doesn't it? A little
one. Yeah, it gave me a real big purpose.
How old were you when your son was born?
16.
Okay.
I was 16.
So you're on the brink. Well, many people at 16, if you're still a tearaway and still misbehaving, without something to focus on, you could go one way, couldn't you?
Well, still boxing, but I think some people, it's just in you to be a certain way. Sometimes I think. But when he was born, you got kids. It's just such a different. Being around them is.
Yeah,
is so different.
Changes everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I had kids at 20, 27, say. No, 26, 20, 27, 28. So totally different. You know, like I'm at that point, I was 8 years as a pro, so I'm probably thinking, right, well, how do I wind up? I think it must be so different, like being at the other end of the scale before your pro career's even started. Like, it might be a few years before your pro career's even started, to then have that responsibility. Maybe it serves you differently, and maybe just then they have to fit in with your boxing. Whereas when you have it a bit later, you're like, you want to stay at home with them. You don't really want to go to the gym anymore. I think it must be different, but that's but it's got to be tough. I was thinking, being a parent is tough. Like,
being young, that's all I'm sort of used to. Like I'm 31 now, and my daughter is 7. So I look at my eldest son, and he's going to be 15 in May, and I think near your age, I had you. So I look at him like, only then does it dawn on me how young I really was.
Yeah.
You know, but it was very difficult.
Was he punching hard as well? Like,
not him. The eldest one, he's really, really clever.
Yeah. Really
intelligent. It's not from me. He gets
no.
No. Like he's really clever. The middle one is a tearaway. He's a bit of a boy.
Right.
He's only 12, but he's like a little man. He's got big hands and he's deep voice. Acts different to the eldest one. Right. A bit of an embarrassment to the eldest one. That's what they say to each other anyway. Not to me, but to the eldest one. And I've got a daughter.
So you were 18, 19 when your second child came along as well.
Yeah.
So even more responsibility and more to fight for in that sense.
Yeah, but I was sort of used to it by then, and it was no way near as hard as being 16. But at the same time, because I was just used to being it didn't really make an impact. It was obviously a worry, like a stress that I wasn't really aware of. Do you know what I mean? Because you're used to it so young.
Yeah.
But it wasn't no way near the same as when you're 16 and you got no money and fucking kids hungry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you're, what were you, 20 when you had your debut then? 21, 22, something like that? So you were still an amateur when the first two were born?
Yeah, I was still an amateur.
Yeah. Were you ever too busy to box? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, with 2 kids and work and that, was it ever a point where you were like, shit, I might not be able to do this?
At one point, I'd broken my hand, and I was due to go in the Ultimate Boxer competition. Yep. I just defended the Southern area, and I broke my hand in the first round of that fight. And then I won the fight, but they pulled me out of the competition, and I was sort of relying on that. And I was working nights at the time, and I was getting rid of all my shifts to box. And then I had a real sort of palaver outside of boxing, and I was going to stop boxing because I ended up in my car. I had nothing, and I was
how
thinking,
how old were you ish then? Mid-20s.
I just fought Joe Hayes just before I fought Larry Ekendeo.
Oh yeah.
And I had 2 fights lined up, and I couldn't. The board wanted a note to say that my hand was okay to fight. But I'd gone to see one of them, is it a physio, and they gave me exercises to do, and they said no, I broke my hand in the gym again, it just weren't healing up. So they said no, you can't fight. And I was thinking, I've got no money, I've got nothing. And then I had like palavers and murders and things, and I was in my car, and I was thinking, fucking hell, I'm just gonna have to stop boxing. So I phoned up Mark, my manager, and my dad. I said, look, I'm gonna knock it on the head. It's costing me too much money. I've had a palaver outside the gym, outside of boxing, just in your personal life, and I'm fucking back to square one from like all them years ago. I'm gonna have to knock it on the head. And then I got a call off Mark saying, look, I've got your sponsor, and he'll pay for the fight, for a fight. And and I've had a fight come in, fight Larry, and in my head I thought, that's my way out. I'll get some money, and I'll be back on my feet. And if I win, and then I lost. the fight come back in my own head, I thought, yeah, this has set me up, and I lost. But rather than, it had an effect that was completely different. I lost on the Saturday, and on the Monday I was out running. I just had that, like, didn't want to leave it like that, you know what I mean?
Like maybe a wake-up call? What went, did something go wrong in camp? You know, did you just not show up on the night?
He's good as well, Ekandai, though, isn't he?
He's a good fighter, but when you lost...
No, I'll tell you what it is. I landed a shot in, I think it was the second round, and when we spoke afterwards, he said, yeah, man, like, for a split, he bambied, and I thought, and then I just was relying, I was so desperate to win, because I needed it so badly, that I thought if I win, I'll get a bit of money. So I just was trying to land one shot, and obviously you can't.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. And I should have known, because I'd fought some really good fighters before fighting him. I mean, I'd fought Lee Gillespie, Freddie Hewitt, Joe Hayes was another unbeaten boy. My second fight, the boy had 2 knockout wins in 3 fights. I knew nothing about him. So I'd been in with some good boys, but I just got suckered in and was trying to rely on one shot, do you know?
Yeah.
And by that point, he beat me. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you come back then from the brink with this fight and opportunity and the sponsor, but then you lose. So then, but you're running on the Monday, so you must be hopeful. Then you're thinking, I'm back. I might have lost, but I'm not. I'm still going. How did you then? What was the process then to get back on your feet?
I fought a fight at Mule Call against a boy, Jamani Camaro. He just beat a boy that was 11-0. So I thought, that's be a good fight. And I beat him over, I think it was 6 rounds. And then I got a call to go to Poland to fight their number 1. He was the welterweight at the time. And when I got over there, I'd done him in 2 rounds. And that put me at number 4 at the welterweights. And I thought, boom, I can right back in it. And then that was that.
Yeah.
Just kept fighting. But I fought a Mexican after that. And then after that, I lost for the European again. But I don't really think of the losses as like oh no, like you're gutted, been there, but you don't give up. I don't want to go back down the journeyman route. I don't want to do a small show and fight a 4-rounder just to get a win. I don't want to look at my record when I stop boxing and look at that.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at that. You know, I think I've come too far to do that. I want good fights, and they were saying things to me in Saudi, like real complimented things, like look at all your last opponents, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
I was going to say that your record, there's not, especially like a fighter who turns over without one of the big promoters. Often it will be a lot of journeymen, but yours is not that. And that sounds like that's by design. You were like, you're not interested in that. You're not interested in boxing someone who's 2 and
no, I didn't want to win titles being spoon-fed opponents that it looks good, but you know you're going to smash this fella. That's why when they're at the press conference and they're screaming, they're going to be confident because they know they're going to win. Whereas when they told me to go away to places, you get abused by the crowd ringside when you're walking to the ring. They're all giving it everything stacked against you. The boy's confident, and I'm just standing there burning. But it's such a rush, such a thrill. You know what I mean? Like this adrenaline rush. It's like I can't even describe the feeling. You know the feeling, George.
Yeah,
and
I know,
you have the people booing you and calling your names and that, and you just want to get it on. It's just it's an addictive. It's like a drug. It's like an addictive feeling, and I love the feeling of being away where there's just you, 2 cornermen, and hundreds of whatever it is of them, and then you win.
Yeah.
And it's just different.
So you're now mandatory for the British title again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's Sam Gilly again, who you fought already. Have you thought much about that fight, or about the future fight you're going to have with him? Is this the first time you're having a rematch with someone?
Yeah. No, I only thought about the fight when I saw that Jack was fighting Sam for the vacant British. When I would sign to fight Jack, and they had not advertised, they had not shown it. It was just talking about them two, and that enraged me, because I thought, he signed to fight me. Why are you talking about another fight? Do you know that enraged me? So I thought, well, I want to fight for the British title. So afterwards, leading up to the fight, and after the first 2 days afterwards, I thought about it. I thought, yeah, I'm right back in it now. But other than that, no, I just train hard like it's any other fight,
Yeah. But you've shared the ring with him before.
Yeah.
So that's different, isn't it? And you've got that. Will it affect your camp, do you think? Will it affect your tactics on the night? Or are you just very much, I am what I am and I do what I do?
I think everyone... I got a call when I fought Dean Sutherland by a Scottish newspaper. And I said, he's been sparring Lewis Crocker. And I went, yeah, but he's not Lewis. That doesn't mean it. We are who we are. I said, no. You can jump from 50 trainers. They can adapt you to certain things, but you're still going to do what you do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't. Sam is a really good boxer, very clever. Got good style, picks punches really, really well. Can come forward as well. I just think the fight's just gonna, where it left in round 12. I think it'll start like in round 1 and it will go on again. That's what I think. I think it's just going to be right from the off a good fight, all the way through.
Well, he's obviously watched your last performance, your last fight, your last win. It feels like your profile has risen. Like people are now talking about you. I wonder what his mentality will now be thinking about you. And do you ever think about that? Like, or do you just not care?
They were asking me over there. They said they were asking me like, what do I think? Have I watched? And I said, look, I don't know. They was asking me about the percentage of people that thought about Jack beating me and things. And I said, I don't know nothing about numbers or percentages or who's underdog or whatever. I focus on me in the gym, what I do, and what I'm going to do when the bell goes. I don't care about anything else.
Do you get nervous before a fight?
I get more nervous in sparring.
Yeah.
I can spar the same person every day, and my adrenaline's going, nerves. I feel quite relaxed in fight day because I know that you're going to get out there, you can sling. Because my spars, I tuck up a lot in spar, I just tuck up and practice little things and people tee off and whatever, but as long as I'm slipping and things, I'm happy with it, you know what I mean? But on fight day, I know that I'm going to throw every punch with full capacity, and you're not on a old back. I've got no head guard on. I'm in tiny gloves, and you can just full throttle it. So that relaxes me a little bit, Feel better with that.
Obviously, like George said, you've already boxed Sam Gilly, so you know him inside out. Do you feel like, what do you have to do differently on the night? Like you said, it'll pick up from round 12.
I don't feel we know each other inside out. I think we know each other better than obviously we did before.
The first one, yeah.
But I think that there's only so much you can both do.
Yeah.
When you're in there, you know what it's like. There's only so much you can do, and I just feel that I am what I am, So I plan on just getting it on.
Yeah.
Getting to him this
straight
time.
away. Just
that is your comfort zone, really.
Having a banger. Well, I mean, when I beat Freddie Kiewit, I boxed on the back foot for 5 rounds, and I was surprised because he's a very slick boxer, but I boxed off the jab, and that's what I thought they were the rounds that won me the fight. That's what I think, but no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
No. People don't want to see that either.
It's true.
Yeah, that's true.
People are buzzing about the fight as well.
True,
People are buzzing because the first one was good. They're buzzing about you and Sam Gilly. And I think because especially after seeing what you did to Jack McGann, they're excited there's a real buzz about you. Do you feel that?
I've noticed it because I'm sitting here with you boys, so it's very like I'm humbling sitting here. When I used to watch you on the telly, so the Gal fight, I was only a little kid watching that, and I'm sitting in there asked all these questions. It's like it was only a couple of weeks ago I was digging holes and I didn't really think anything. I got through the door and the phone rang, and it's not even the fight, it's the interview that people are going mad about. And the interview was an accident, the fight weren't. But that's what set me up.
The interview was great. You end up, I think I was watching the Sky broadcast, and you end up with the Sky.
With Andy Scott?
Andy Scott and the team. They're calling you over. At that point, are you thinking, "Oh, just let me go"? Or are you like, "All right, fine, I'll sit. I'll do as you ask."
I didn't feel no negative. Like I want to go or whatever. My dad said to me, "You've got to start taking in every experience," because I tend to not want to socialise when I'm in certain places. I find myself. I'm unpredictable, so I like to shut away and then fight, and then afterwards I go out and look round and think, yeah, it was good. But when I got over there, even on the walkout, it was the first time I think I looked round and I grinned and I thought, after everything, I'm in Saudi Arabia now, and Joshua's fighting this in Ghana.
Yeah.
Everyone's watching, and I'm here now. I'm supposed to lose this fight, and I just had other plans, man. But I took it all in, and it felt great. So when I got out of the ring, and they said to me, "Could you come over here?" I thought, yeah, definitely. I've got time for everyone. Any interview, any question, I've got time for everyone.
Yeah, and you do, and you answer honestly. I don't think you could do anything different if you tried. And it's quite infectious seeing someone box out their skin or box really well or get a great crazy knockout win, and then that overspill of emotion. It was even though you're pretty you don't look very emotional at times, but it wasn't an open discussion. Like you was very open with your situation, who you are, what you're about, and it's infectious. Like you're drawn towards it, and you can enjoy that. You almost feel like, oh, I'm part of the Greene camp this week. This is we've done well. This is a win.
It's relatable, isn't it? Because that's what I thought. When you speak to your dad, I'm thinking about mine, and then you talk about your kids, and I'm thinking about mine. And it feels like there was a connection there. You're like, they're just watching at home, just like all you lot are watching at home, sort of thing. And then when you spoke about your dad, and that must have been so special for him as well. That whole moment.
Yeah, I mean, afterwards he was like, when he was saying it, because I watch him when we're in these places. My dad's walking around and he's taking it all in. So I feed off of him more. I like watching him enjoy himself, because like I say, his mum, he never really experienced anything like that before. Like I say, he raised me. I stated he's just a postman. So it was hard as a kid, and he tried hard all the time. Like he'd go to work, my nan would have to come in and get us up, and so I mean, then we went obviously later on to live with my mum later. But I watch what he does. I watch him walking around, like enjoying everything. I like that feeling,
Take it all in.
I like watching him enjoy himself. Yeah,
definitely. But also, like obviously being your dad, he's got more years on the planet, and therefore a bit of wisdom that that you're hopefully trying to absorb as well. And even down to him taking it all in, that's a chance to remind us, like, I should fucking take it all in as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
And he was the first one who took you on the pads as well.
Yeah, he used to try like come on like pad me when I was a kid. It was like a wild child as soon as I was born. So his dad comes from a big Irish family, and they used to fight over in Ireland, and used to pad me in front of his dad. And I got videos of it when I'm little, and I'm just like just charging and going mad when I was small. But I never took it in. You don't do it like when you're there. You know what I mean? As I got older.
So then, when you get back to Strood on the, I assume you flew back on a Sunday, did you? When you had the fight on Saturday?
I fought Friday.
Oh, it was a Friday night,
back,
yeah.
Flew back Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. What was the reception like? Was it like seeing the family again?
Yeah, kids and everyone was going mad, yeah. And then I went and had a pint in the pub, and everyone was going mad.
Is that a far cry from when you first started and you're struggling to make ends meet, or you're doing it for free?
Yeah, of course it is, because I've never, like I said, someone said to me, like, which I don't like answering them questions, 'cause I think it's cheeky. I went in a cafe and someone went to me, how much money's in your bank? And I thought, how can you, like, I don't even know who you are. Do you know what I mean? Like, just randomly whacked. But I haven't made any money from boxing. I mean, my Commonwealth, when I fought for the Commonwealth title, I earned next to no money, because when the phone rang, I thought, Mark was like, I'm not having that, Lou. And I went, no, I don't want to outprice myself. Someone else might get the fight. I said, so I can definitely beat him. I went, just take the very first offer that they give you. And I won, and then it set up. But I had to go back up there. And that wasn't for terrific money, but it's for better than what I got. And then I got the fight with Sam. And that was the most money I'd made. Do you know what I mean? So
that was a Sky one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Chamberlain
I'm just grateful for every single every interview I've done since I've been back, and every experience that's been going on for quite a couple of years in boxing now. I'm just grateful for every single day and every interview and everything. I'm very grateful.
And how did you answer that guy in the cafe who asked how much money you got in your account?
Chinned him.
Did you give it to him in what's the Saudi dirham? Is it?
Yeah, Riad. The Riad.
You just said, "Oh, it's a Riad."
Yeah, it's a Riad.
Riad dollars.
$1 million Riad.
You've got $1 million Riad dollars. You don't know what the conversion is. So
What did I? Well, yeah, that's his answer.
What did you say to him? You ain't got to tell the figure.
Unless you told him the truth.
Yeah, like piss off,
and you
mate.
don't want to tell us. It's fine.
No, I didn't tell him. I just went, I did all right. And then he turned away, and then he come up to me, asked me to do a video for his nephew or something. So I did a video, and he just
15 quid.
He stood there for like awkwardly, and then he left. So I think I might have come across after the thing for the little boy.
Breakfast that day.
Yeah,
he'd done a video for his kid.
Yeah.
Might have thought I was rude or something. I don't know. Because afterwards, I thought we could ask me more questions about that. I just think that's a cheek, man.
It's a bit of a.
People are fascinated though, aren't they?
Yeah.
And we don't know, like, and the general public will assume you're a professional boxer, you're making a fortune, and now people assume, oh, you're in Saudi,
you're on TV,
you must be making a fortune.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say I drive a big truck, because I used to do like a bit of security with my dogs, and my bumper's got someone hit me in the side, and I've cable tied the bumper on. So when they see me pull up in that, they go, "How come you ain't got fucking?" I say, because it's not like that, mate. I can't go out and buy a Lamborghini yet.
Not yet.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Speaking of which, so you knock out Jack McGann, and that totally kiboshes the plan for him to box Sam Gilly, and then you get the Sam Gilly rematch, and we're hopeful of a date and whatnot, and a confirmation of that. So have you reassessed like your goals and your plans? Like you said at the start, you didn't even know about belts and whatnot. Like over the years, have you gone, this is what I want to achieve, and like now, what's the plan? Like what's the goal for you? What you said, you're 31 now.
Well, I look at now when I assess things, I rule no achievement out in my life ever. From when I think back to when I was 16, I had a little flat and a blow up sofa in the flat at first. Yeah. And then from jumping from these little jobs, having the kids, then I'm out in my motor, I'm thinking, I've got nothing, I'm fucked. And then losing and pulling back all the time, to be then becoming, I actually lost to Harry Scarf at Wembley. And I said to my old man, I said, I'll be champion by the end of the year. I said, I'm telling you, because we had a suspicion that the Polish fella for the second Polish fight had phoned up before I took the fight with Harry, and then they called obviously when I lost and was like, but it was the weight above, and then I went up and I felt brilliant. So I'll rule nothing out, because my mind has never told me like enough's enough. I see a lot of people now, they mope. We're in a very depressed era of life. I think everyone's got a problem of some sort. When they're not, a lot of it's not really a problem. I find it very difficult to listen to it. The last fight, my friend, his little girl, she's not going to live. That's a real problem. He never moans, never even the little girl, she's on the phone to me. I can't even talk. And she doesn't moan. She's 4, she just turned 5. And she knows. She's got no hair, she can't walk. She's in a wheelchair now, where the tumour is affecting her that bad. And I hear men that because their missus is sick of them for going out and spending all the money all the time, moaning, oh, I've got mental health problems. No, you ain't, mate. There's people out there with real serious problems, harsh problems, and they don't moan. I think that's a real big thing. And in this era of life we're living, it's almost like it's a fashion statement to outdo each other with who's got it harder. When some people, there's nothing wrong with not having it hard, man.
Yeah.
If you've got a good life, it's all right. It's okay. You ain't got to fucking find something to moan about, man. That's the how I look at things now. So I rule nothing out, no achievement, no nothing that I can get over in my life ever.
Did you say you were living in your car at one point? You said you were.
Practically, I was looking after like a yard that had scrap metal and things like that.
Yeah.
And
he's not supposed to be living there.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he's
you gotta pay tax.
No, I didn't stay on it. No, I was like, and what I'd do is I would sleep on my brother's sofa for a couple of hours during the day. And the firm I was working for, obviously they don't know any. So I said to them, look, you can give me seven days a week, shit. I'd just sit in my car at night and I'd be thinking, fucking hell, I'm here.
Yeah.
Just sat in this fucking motor. Got fuck all.
Yeah.
Got nothing.
Yeah.
So nowadays, everything you get, you appreciate now.
I've always been grateful for everything that I've always had.
Yeah.
But with like involved in the boxing, I don't rule no achievement out in my that I could achieve anything, because I've always come back better and stronger every single time. A loss doesn't make me think, oh, that's it. If boxing was about being unbeaten, there would be no sport. You would have no sport of boxing.
Yeah, I think you've got a great attitude for resilience. Essentially, you've worked out what real problems are, and we've all got problems, but some are far worse than others. But as a boxer, then you've got to be resilient, haven't you? So you've got to be tough, and yeah, sure, you know, you might not have that Lamborghini yet, you might not be able to answer the geezer in the calf exactly how you want to, but it'll come. And now that you've got no ceiling to your ambition, like you don't think there's anything that you're not capable of, then it's, you know, the world is your oyster. Is that the right one, Dec?
World's your oyster, yeah. That's what they say. We need one more thing though, George.
Yeah, one more thing.
What is it?
Louis, we ask each and every guest to give us their ringwalk track. We stick it on our playlist on Spotify. So this could be the ringwalk music that you come out to now, maybe one in the future, maybe just something that you love, that you think's a banger for our listeners to get stuck into. And then we listen to it going, this is what the Medway Mauler comes out to.
The Medway Mauler tune. Have you got one song in particular you walk out to?
Yeah, I come out to the same one all the time. It's the track of Last of the Mohicans, the girls.
Oh, that's exactly what we need on that playlist.
Yep.
That's your proper ring walk tune.
I don't have nothing else.
Okay, and that definitely ain't on it. Now people will be on the gym coming on, the Medway Mauler comes on.
It's the ending, you know, the ending clip when they're fighting on the mountain.
What a film that is. Yeah.
It's that one.
What a tune. When did you think of that? When did you think, oh, that's my tune?
Well, I used to watch that film when I was a kid, about twice a day. And my dad's dad used to sit on the sofa and just bored out of watching it. And I remember saying, when I was a little kid, if I was to come out, I'd have that when I was young.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Perfect.
That's beautiful.
And what about now? Can you listen to it now, or do you have to save it for fight night?
No, if I hear it now, it sparks like I get that can't wait to fight feeling.
Yeah.
You know, because
so
I like that.
You don't have to worry about overusing it. And
No.
Stick it on when he's having his breakfast.
No, it reminds me of the walkout, because I love the walkout when you're about to fight.
Yep.
And you're waiting and then you walk out. Yeah. I love that bit.
It is the best bit.
Yeah. That's a great tune. That's a great story for the playlist as well.
That is brilliant.
Mate,
thanks so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on. Great stories. You're in the club.
Yeah, can't wait for the Gilly fight. So we'll wait news for that, the rematch, and then there's no target, no goal too big for you.
No.
World titles incoming.
There you go.
Medway Mauler. Nice one.